Good evening. I think we've all heard the stories. I know my wife and I have heard them from the time we moved in almost 6 years ago. I'm speaking, of course, of the stories of the spirits that allegedly haunt our shul. There have been stories, there have been rumors of ethereal events occurring in and around the shul building and the grounds. Michael Turek, my cameraman, and I are prepared to investigate these stories and see if there's any truth to them, any substance to them at all. We plan to spend the next few nights in and around the rooms of the shul to see if we can find anything to substantiate these stories. We plan to investigate by interviewing members of the shul who might have heard similar stories. We need questions answered. Do these spirits exist? If they do exist, who are they? What are they? Should they be asked to pay dues? If there are enough of them, do they need seats on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur? And most importantly, if there is a substantial number of these spirits, should they have a once-a-month auerbach style haunting of the shul? We hope to answer some of these questions with our little film presented for your pleasure tonight. Thank you. Have you ever seen or heard anything in the shul that you could term as otherworldly or ethereal?
I've heard shrieks, I've heard moans, I've heard people screaming. Usually it's at me after davening.
We're going to investigate some strange noises that we've heard from the kitchen now. I'm a little nervous about it, but there have been rumors from the kitchen area that there have been some pagan sacrificial rituals going on. Come with me and let's see what's going on. Thank you, Michael. Michael, we have something here. Aha! We have lima and pinto beans and a potato. Obviously pagan fertility signs. I think we're getting close to something good. We hear noises from the kitchen. There's something else. Just as had been rumored, a piece chicken. Obviously, signs of animal sacrifice. I think we're really onto something. Well, we're approaching the kitchen area. I hear some signs inside. I have to tell you, I'm a little nervous about this. Let's go.
Mädchen, ich mach du Chulent for the Kiddush Club. Gentlemen, I'm making Chulent for the Kiddush Club. Die ganze Woche ist sehr schwer zusammenliegen. Und unter Shabbos ist Mismun a bissel besser for the Yidden. All week it's very hard to be Jewish, but on Shabbos it should be a little bit better. So, entschuldige mir, you'll excuse me, and I will continue working. Thank you very much.
Scary, but not exactly what we're looking for. You spend a lot of time in the shul. Have you ever heard or seen anything that you could term out of the ordinary or otherworldly?
I've heard about these out-of-ordinary things and some unghastly events, but I haven't seen it myself. But if I do see one, the only way they're going to get an aliyah on their yard site is if they make at least a kiddush.
I'm very worried. Michael seems to have disappeared. I can't find him anywhere. And I hear what seem to be shrieks of pain, as if he's being tortured. Perhaps the spirits have gotten to him. It seems to be coming from this room. Michael?
Oh, hello, Tully. I was just getting in some early practice for Simchas Torah.
Walter, you've been around as long as probably anyone in shul. Have you ever heard or seen anything that you could term supernatural or out of the ordinary?
Yes, I have. In fact, quite frequently. Years ago, though, I didn't give it too much thought. It was pretty obvious in my mind that it was Charlie Fuller down in the basement carrying out his usual act. But since Mr. Fuller has left us, to my amazement, I've still heard those kind of noises, and now I'm beginning to feel that it's the beginning of the collapsing of the main shul's floor in the women's section of the shul.
I'm about to enter perhaps the scariest room in shul. That is the room behind the youth lounge. If there's anything supernatural going on, I'm sure it's happening in here. Ah!
What did you see?
Something so blood-curdling, so scary, so horrifying. I can't even talk about it.
Was it a witch?
Much worse.
A ghost?
Worse than that.
You don't mean...
Yes. A personal injury attorney.
Hey guys, it's dark in here. I heard you were coming in. Someone could trip and fall. Why don't you take my card? We can make some money.
Jewish literature is, of course, replete with descriptions of the phenomenon. Various names would include Dybbuk, Lilith, Satan, even Machshefa.
So there is basis to our belief that supernatural beings could exist in our shul.
Supernatural beings. No, I was talking about my mother-in-law.
In the Talmud, we find many references to these things. There are stories about sightings in old buildings, in shuls, in cemeteries, places like that.
So, Rabbi, what you're really saying is that there could be spirits inhabiting our shul.
Spirits? Who's talking about spirits? I'm talking about Sam Heilman's mother-in-law.
Stories have abounded of ghostly spirits haunting this graveyard, adjacent to the old church building. Could it be the ghosts of the original settlers, the Huguenots of New Rochelle? Let's go see. What are you guys doing here? Hello, I'm just registering voters for next year's election. Oh, I'd like to help. Is there anything I can do? Name it. Just name it.
I'm sorry, I can't name anything without my wife's permission.
Have you ever heard stories or tales about these alleged supernatural occurrences in the shul?
Over the years, I've gotten numerous reports of these alleged supernatural occurrences in the shul. There haven't been any of them that I've satisfied myself have been proved beyond a reasonable doubt. However, if they ever are demonstrated to exist, I'm very concerned that the city is going to require us to provide parking for them.
Tully, there's one final place, one final location in this shul that we haven't yet investigated. We've now reached the most dangerous stage of this investigation. Tully, it's too dangerous for you. I'm going in here on my own. If I'm not out in 4 hours, do me a favour, come and get me. I'll see you later. Tully, you've got to get in here. I found the spirits.
Michael, you mean you've seen a ghost?
No, Tully. I found the spirits.
I found where the Kiddush Club keeps the spirits. L'chaim!
Over the years, I've gotten numerous reports. These natural occurrences. I'm sorry. No problem. I hear that noise coming from the camera, and it's there. It's right there.
Oh, wait a minute.